The weather is getting warmer, and the urge to do all of my emails and CAD work out in the backyard sun has gotten stronger and stronger. But alas, do you too fall victim to your silly little chairs with their silly little spindly legs?
You may be entitled to compensation.
Actually, I don't know what or who is gonna compensate you, but I, for one, am gonna build some Adirondack chairs, because I am sick of this.
And the coolest part of all of this is that while I'm baking out here enjoying the sun, my tools will be too, because these chairs are going to be built entirely using solar power, thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Anchor. But I'll show you more on that once I actually design these chairs. Anyway, my general process for designing things these days is to sketch some ideas in my notebook. For some reason, I can't design anything starting in a computer. I always have to start just with pen and paper. And then once I like the general gist of where an idea is going, I bop on over to Fusion 360, which is my go-to CAD software, and I sketch it out there. And if I still like it, I finalize, I do all my cams still in Fusion 360. And then for this project specifically, I want to see if I can run my giant Tormach CNC machine on Anchor's new giant solar battery, the Anchor Solix F3800. So I split my design into Tormach-sized pieces, programmed to the toolpaths, and it's time to head over to the shop.
The whole time I was doing that though, I've had these awesome mega 400-watt solar panels charging up my Anchor Solix F3800 battery. So now that that's charged up, let's go give it a spin. Get it? Because we're spinning up the spindle? Yeah. Never mind.
So I'm gonna plug my my air compressor in here. I'll plug the whole CNC machine into here. If this all runs, I'm gonna be so impressed. This is so much power. All right. What's funny, I actually haven't turned the Tormach on since I moved. We are running entirely on solar power.
All right, while that solar-powered CNC machine is chugging away, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video. The Anchor Solix F3800 is a massive portable bidirectional inverter, which, by the way, basically just means solar battery, but we call it an inverter because it can take DC solar in and spit AC into your house and vice versa, so inverter. It provides a whopping 6,000 watts with not just 120 volts output, but also 240 volt 30 amp and 240 volt 50 amp output to power all of your tools, like my CNC machine in a power outage, because you know, I have priorities, or more practically, an electric car. Plus, it's modular, so if you need to be running my CNC machine, dust collector, and charging your electric vehicle all at the same time, you can add up to 6 portable power station expansion batteries, as well as run 2 of these bad boys to a combined 12,000 watts. One of the coolest features of the battery is that you can use it with the Anchor Solix home power panel to power your entire house during an outage. And as we have repeatedly established on this channel, unfortunately, I am a renter, so I couldn't actually install any of this in my home, which is a shame because the Anchor Solix home power panel system can cut about 40% of your energy bill when you use the battery's power during the peak times and then let it recharge with solar or during off-peak. And if you do lose electricity from the power grid and are using the Anchor Solix solar panel PS400 in your setup, the Anchor Solix home power panel will automatically switch from the main power grid to solar, so that the Anchor Solix F3800 can smoothly swap over and keep the lights on and the CNC running. Speaking of CNCs, let's go see how Terry the Tormach is doing and if I have crashed it yet.
All right, so one panel has been successfully cut with dust collection, the chiller, so everything's running on the battery. The chiller, the dust collector, the air compressor, and the shop vac. And that job went from 59% to 52%. That's pretty good. And once the CNC was finished cutting out all of the pieces, I just rounded over all of the edges for like a nice smoother finish, using a round over bit on my router table, and then I would pass them off to Karis, who was sanding the pieces, so we had a nice little like production chain going, and yes, all of that was also running off of the batteries, so the router table, the sander, and the vacuum. And once all of those pieces were prepped, it was time to start assembling. And I started by screwing together the two sides, which like kind of frame out the chair. Could you do this in a more organized fashion? Absolutely. Am I going to? Nope. Not a chance. I'm also going to throw a note in here and say that if you are making this chair and you want to stain it, I would stain it before assembling. I then assembled the back by screwing all of the back slats to the notched curved piece that will hold them all into place on the seat. And with that done, I got the two sides up, and then I could screw the middle back curved piece on, and that'll hold them at the right distance. And I just used the seat slats that were already cut out as my measurement to make sure that the two side pieces were the right distance apart and also square. Once I liked the way the frame was looking, I dropped the back on and positioned it so that the back slats met the curve of the bottom of the chair at about a 90-degree angle. I kind of eyeballed it. Per my CAD, it's about 6 inches from where the back swoop meets the side swoop, but I just went with what felt right. And I had screwed all of the back slats down with one screw so that I could still kind of wiggle them and adjust them to the angle that I liked. And then once it was in place and they were all lined up exactly how I wanted, I threw a nail on each side of the screw just to hold the angle. You could use 2 screws if you wanted to. That's definitely personal preference. And while it would definitely be stronger to screw everything down, I really didn't want to put screw heads in any visible areas. So like the back of the chair and the seat of the chair, all of the screws are either on the inside or pointing or on the bottom of the chair. So I nailed the back slats and the seat slats down. If it starts falling apart in a year or two, then I might screw them down. But for now, I think it holds perfectly fine with nails and it looks a whole lot better. And then to space out the bum slats, I found a piece of scrap wood that was exactly a 1/4 inch wide. And so I just used that as like a spacer between each slat, and then all of my slats are perfectly evenly spaced. There's no armrests, but it's time for the inaugural sit. Damn, that's pretty good. My backyard parties are gonna be poppin'. It's not that heavy either, even though it uses an entire 4x8 sheet of plywood. Although, this is emerald birch, so it's not a very heavy plywood. Anyway. I stained it using this gel stain because I fell down the like furniture flipper TikTok rabbit hole and they all use gel stain and I hated it. Can anyone explain to me why gel stain is a thing? Like it's so time consuming to paint it on and then you have to wipe it all off and it's messier and looks worse than normal stain. So moral of the story, wish I'd gone with normal stain, but in the end it wasn't the worst. So I'd never actually plugged the CNC into a wall in this new place because I just moved in and this project is the first time I've used it. And I just plugged in the CNC and the dust collector to the wall and popped the breaker. So actually I can only run the CNC on solar power. I was like, I'm just gonna cheat, no one's gonna know. I just need to get this last sheet done. Nope, solar power is the only way. Okay, for the record, the cheating was that I wasn't planning to make 2 chairs originally. I was just gonna make 1 for the video, and then I made the 1 chair and I was like, shoot, I really need a 2nd chair so that it has a friend. And I was like, I'll just do it quickly off camera and it won't be part of the video. And while I was doing that, Karis was supposed to be filming all of like the beauty shots and the pickup shots for the ad of this video, but I needed to use the battery. Just to clarify. So I'm just gonna spray some Halcyon. Everyone's favorite varnish in a bag. For finish, I used Halcyon by Bodiltote, and I just put it straight into the sprayer without thinning it or anything, and it sprayed on like a dream. And Halcyon is really nice because it's a water-based varnish, so cleanup, especially for something like a sprayer, is really easy. It just uses water.
Ooh, that's a good chair. So each chair is made from a single 4x8 sheet of plywood, which I know is quite a lot of plywood, but it's also quite a lot of chair. Since everyone on my Patreon was asking for it, I did make plans, but like, I'm just gonna throw it out there. If you don't have a CNC machine, prepare to have a lot of patience because everything on here is curved. I personally don't have the patience for that, but if you have the patience for that, I guess I'll drop a link to plans down below, or maybe I'll make them available on my Patreon.
The lemon water doesn't come with the plans though.
Oh, also, if you liked this format of building something simple and useful that you could actually feasibly want to do, let me know, because I don't do that very much. All right, it's sunbathing nap time. These are so comfortable. I bought pillows for these chairs because I thought they would be really uncomfortable, and my ass is melting into this seat right now. You don't understand. I'm never moving again.